Hello guys, and welcome to a new WARNO video today by me, Vulcan. In this one I'm excited to share with you a first look at Defense Zone Paris. This is a new French division available in the upcoming State of Emergency Nemesis DLC. Let's jump on in. Just a note, what you see today is a work in progress and therefore subject to change. We're going to go through all of the units and we'll put together a quick deck. So starting here in the logistics tab, we have ourselves the TRM 2000, 30-point supply truck, 8 on a card. Pretty nifty, 65 km per hour off-road, 90 km per hour on-road, 750 supply per truck. Then we have the Battlegroup GBC. This is a 1000 supply vehicle, same speed as the other truck, 40 points for that extra little bit of supply, slightly less availability, 6 on a card, but you do get 2 cards available of these, so yeah, nice option for sure. Then we've got the Alouette 2, which is a small command helicopter, only 4 health, no ECM, pretty slow, gets shot down very easily. The only place that I would ever see these being used is like to back cap early potentially, but otherwise you're not going to see much use out of them. Then we have the M201 PC, which is a nice nifty Jeep, 65 km per hour off-road, 100 km per hour on-road, no armor, 4 health, but speedy, which is nice. And you also get 3 on a card, and there's 2 cards available. Then there's a VAB PC, 2 on a card, 2 available, 85 points, much faster off-road with the 85 km per hour speed, 100 km per hour on-road. Defends itself with the 50 cal, does have some armor, so a bit more resilient to artillery. There's also, of course, the option of the FOB. Moving on to infantry. We've got the reserve machine gunners for 10 points. They're okay. Then we got the non-reserve variant as well, 15 points, 12 on a card, 2 cards available. You can spam the crap out of these for sure if you want to hold infantry at bay. Then we have the Gendarme Mobile. These guys are the leader. They have a military police vehicle as well in the P4 Gendarmerie. So military police leaders, they've got military police trait, which grants suppression regeneration bonus to nearby allies and removes reservist trait. So useful to have if there's a lot of reservists in your deck for sure. We also have just the standard military police, so the 4-man squad. And again, you can choose to bring them in with the military police car. I would always recommend upgrading to the military police car. You might as well. It's always worth it in my opinion. These also get the security trait, so their optics are good when they are not moving, so it goes from normal to good. We have the Gendarme Mobile. Interesting unit. 2 submachine guns, 5 FAMAS, machine gun, and then the AC-58, which is a rifle grenade, an AT rifle grenade. 14 penetration is pretty high actually. 500 meters, not too far though, and the accuracy is kind of trash. So yeah, maybe like useful against enemy APCs in a pinch, but otherwise going to be quite unreliable. Can be brought in with an AMX-13 VTT, which does also have the military police trait. It's actually quite a nice, resilient military police unit, which would be fantastic for following tanks around. And then there's the VBRG, which also has military police trait. Cool sort of police vehicle. Interesting. It's pretty fast, 85 km per hour off-road, 100 km per hour on-road. It's also amphibious. Very nice. Then there's the 50 cal, 30 points, 8 on a card. Then we have the reservist. So this is a reservist leader, 6-man squad. Of course has the reservist trait, so we can negate that with the military police. But otherwise, it's all right. 35 points for a 6-man squad leader. It's cheap and cheerful, but I don't know how effective it's going to be at surviving against anything. We do get a couple of interesting options here. So with the Battlegroup, which is the standard sort of truck with a 65 km per hour off-road, 90 km per hour on-road. This is the same as the supply variant. And then you have one with a machine gun on it, the 50 cal. Not sure how useful this is going to be because the truck doesn't have any armor, but at range, as long as you're keeping out of light arms range of enemy units, the 50 cal can certainly get some value. So I wouldn't overlook it entirely. We have the reservists, so 10-man squad, 9 for mass, and a machine gun. When you're going to be able to overwhelm enemy infantry if you're taking like a card of 12 reservists and you have military police nearby. But against like any sort of armor, you're just obviously not able to deal with it. But we do get reservists with the LRAC. The LRAC is a 13 pen 500 meter range AT, 45% accuracy because of the reservist trait. It'd be like 50% normally, I guess. It's okay. Belite and the machine gun Belite as well. You get 4 cards of these, 12 on a card. You're certainly going to be able to reservist spam. Finally, reservists with the FRF1, which is a sniper, so a little bit more suppression up their sleeve, and yeah, that's mainly what they're gaining from that. See here the difference between the suppression of the machine gun and the sniper rifle, so it helps pin things quicker. You got the LRAC in there. Okay, interesting. Then we got the Gren voltages. So this leader's a 4-man leader with a smoke. I do like having smokes on the leaders. It's pretty handy for when they get spotted. These can be brought in with the P4 or the VAB. Then there's the voltages. 10-man squad, 9 for mass, machine gun, LRAC F1, which has the 15 penetration at 750 meters, which is much more effective range than 500, and 55% accuracy. Very nice. Definitely a decent unit. TRM 2000, VAB. And then the Gren voltages with the Apalas, same deal with the Apalas launcher, which is the 21 pen, 750 meter range, 55% accuracy. Really good launcher. Both of these are very nice. The Apalas even better because of that rate of fire as well. So yeah, really, really solid squad. Then we got the conscripts. These guys, 12-man squad, 2 submachine guns, 9 mass, the machine gun, and the Strim 65, which is another AT rifle grenade. 12 penetration only, 500 meter range, and 30% accuracy with that reservist militia getting involved. Honestly, really kind of trash. I don't even know if these would be saved with military police. Then we have the Republican Guard, so cool outfits. They have pretty much everything they need actually for a leader, but it's only a 4-man squad still. So 4-man squad, LRAC for some AT, and then they've got the smoke grenade in there as well. They've got resolute trait, they've got security trait. It's actually a pretty nice leader. I just wish they maybe had an extra man or two. Then we got the Republican Guard with no AT at all, so just a resolute security infantry with 7 for mass and FRF1. And then we got the guards with a... they get access to the rifle grenade. That's pretty much the difference there. They lose the rifle, sniper rifle, and they get the rifle grenade. It's definitely a better option. They do have resolute trait, security trait. This could be a reasonably good squad, actually. Pretty fun to mess around with. And we got reserve M40. There's also reserve sappers. So 40 points for an NRAC 73 and satchel. I like it, really like it, actually, when you get close range infantry with both options for AT and satchels. It can really catch people out, because a lot of people will look at the sappers and be like, oh yeah, okay, I can run at this with my tank or my ABC or something, and then bam, you hit them with the LRAC. Nasty business. Shock trait, again, you can military police the way the reservists. So it looks like military police can be super important here. And then Group Antichar, really solid AT squad with double Apalas set up there. They also have VABs and VAB Milans, so those would be nice. And then we got a really cool unit, the GIGN. The Special Forces, Shock Trait, Security. They got 8 MP5s and a smoke grenade. The actual loadout is not fantastic. There's no satchel or anything. It would be kind of nice if they had something like that, so they could be pure anti-infantry, because they are pure anti-infantry at the moment, but they're going to lose to anything that has a satchel anyway. So it's kind of weird to just have those MP5s, but they do a decent amount of damage. They do have Special Forces Shock Trait and Security Trait. They can be brought in with a military police vehicle, which is just a nice little van there. and a Super Puma. Then we've also got the options for the Milan 1, coming Jeep, or a Milan 2, which also comes with the VAB Milan. So that's nice options. And moving on to artillery, it's going to be an 81mm mortar. Mortars, still kind of smoke tubes mostly. I find mortars, since the artillery rework, kind of hard to use because if you salvo too long, they tend to get killed very easily because you still have the pack unpack on them. At least like mobile mortars with a bit of like armor might survive counter battery. Yeah, I feel like mortars are in a bit of a weird spot right now, but either way, still useful for providing smoke and can sort of harass a bit better than they used to with HE because the time on target is a little bit less. And then we got the 155 bills, which are nice. I imagine like you get like 4 of these and you just do like 1 volley and then move. So just like fire 1 shot from every gun and then just move them all. Again, if you're going to fire 4 rounds, which is the salvo length here, you're going to get killed by counter battery. So the biggest thing you got to worry about at the moment with artillery is just like anything that's got longer than like a 1 or 2 salvo length, you're going to want to micro that so that it moves preemptively. Otherwise, you're almost always going to get killed. And then we got the F3 Automortier 155. Yeah, might as well just be using the towed ones because you get more of them. It's as simple as that, really. I'm sure this would be fine. And it does have a bit of armor to make it a bit more resilient against enemy artillery. But a direct hit's still going to do a lot of damage with that no top armor. Then we got the tank tab. So Milan trucks, 17 pen, 2,450 meter range, 45% accuracy. They are reservists, so they lose the accuracy a little bit. And then you got decent speed. Good stealth is nice though. But I do obviously prefer the P4 Milan with that 24 penetration. Very nasty toy with the same range as the Milan one. 50% accuracy. This is a decent Jeep for sure. And we got the AMLs. So the AML 90 CP, which is a leader for 70 points. These only have 1 armor, which is not great. Their main gun is all right. It's nothing special. Yeah, I'm not sure I would. I guess actually it's going to be okay. I mean, it's 90 kilometers per hour armored command vehicle. I guess you could do worse. And then we got, does it come with smoke? It does have smoke as well, yeah, that's kind of important to note. There's also AML 90 reserves. Not sure how useful these are going to be. But yeah, could be fun. Then we got the Instructor AMX 30B. So these guys get the Instructor trait. I think there's like 2 or 3 other units in the game that have it already, which is like the Green Berets. This is the one that I can remember off the top of my head. But basically the way that it works is it gives nearby units of the same type +1 veterancy and removes reservist. So if we have, for example, here we have reservist AMX 30B2s, this is going to be giving veterancy plus removing the reservist trait of these AMX 30s. So these are going to be pretty important in this deck for sure. 105, 15 pen, 1,925 meter range. Like the gun's okay. But yeah, nice supplement for both the infantry, just for the veterancy, and also, actually, I'm not sure if it gives veterancy to things that aren't the same type. No, so it must just be tanks actually that it gives veterancy to. So if you're using a lot of these AML 90 reserves or these reserve AMX 30s, then it's useful. Otherwise, maybe not. Okay, moving on. VBC 90, a very interesting vehicle. Like it. 2,275 meter range is scary. 60% accuracy on this with the 2 VAT. 85 km per hour speed, 100 km per hour on road. And the fact that these are so fast and you can get quite a lot of them is a pretty scary thought. Yeah, we're certainly going to see some shenanigans with these. Military police, amphibious, smoke launcher. Yeah, really nice. And then we've also got the BBC 90 with which is the standard variant. So 20 points less. It's obviously the same stats, You can bring them in at 1 vet, but you get 6 on a card and there's 2 cards available. So like I said, the availability on these is great. And the fact that they have military police means they supplement the infantry very, very well. And they have smoke launchers to keep them alive at least. Although that low armor is kind of rough against tanks. You just want to use them to ambush. And we've got the AMX-30B2 here. So the B2, it gets a slightly better gun. Well, actually quite a significantly better gun. 2,275 meter range with 17 pen. It also gets the auto cannon, the 20 mil. So if you remove that reservist trait, this is a mean piece of work. Definitely worth using. And finally, the star of the show for this division, the LECLERC. This thing is pretty interesting because it has an autoloader with 12 round per minute rate of fire. Pretty nice. 210 points, you get 4 on a card. 1 vet, 4. Yeah, 2 vet, you get 2. So 14 front armor's okay. The 18 pen gun though with 2,270 meter range with decent accuracy and rate of fire is really nice. This is going to be able to duel with sort of mid-range T-72s and T-80s pretty well. Obviously it's not going to be able to kill like big targets very easily unless it gets side shots. But pretty nasty piece of kit. And a very nice sort of heritage piece to have in the game. Sort of the predecessor to the main LECLERC tanks that we have around, which are really, really cool. Yeah, nice. Really, really interesting piece of kit. Cool. All right, recon. We have the Battlegroup. This is a jammer. So it will downgrade the optics of recon using radar. And then it prevents GSR and cancels artillery correction. For 15 points, could be useful in team games. Then we have the M201 Rasura, so an exceptional optic jeep. It does have the good stealth. This is going to be actually kind of useful to have around. And then you got the reserve recon. 4-man squad with the LRAC. Our reservist can be brought in with a jeep with good optics. It's kind of nice. And there's also the helicopter option there. Then we have the standard recon, 4-man squad with that LRAC F1. They can be brought in with a P4 with good optics, as well as the helicopter, or just the standard P4. Then we've got, I think this is Squirrel. 215 km per hour speed, 6 health is actually quite nice. You can probably tank a hit. Very good optics, great for giving you that extra line of sight because you're like higher altitude than obviously recon on the ground. And there's the AML 60 military police variant, 1,925 meter range, 40% accuracy. Kind of wish sometimes that these could indirect fire, but it's okay. 100 km per hour off-road, 90 km per hour on-road. Going to be useful for engaging infantry, but that's about it, right? There's no like AP on that shell. And then you got the ML90 Recon. So this is a more interesting ML90 because that very good optics makes it a pretty nice flanking unit. Like the initial ones will be okay for flanking, but you need optics, right? So you can take them with you and then you can maybe get some extra value out of them. And then we got the EPA IGN. These guys have 2 snipers. We've got Special Forces, Shock Trait, Airborne Sniper. So we've got 1,250 meter range. They're going to be able to cut down infantry pretty well, and they're also going to be relatively resistant to counter battery or like counter fire, sorry, if they get shot at because of the Special Forces trait. Shock Trait's not going to be terribly useful for them. But of course, sniper's going to be increasing the stealth and damage if they haven't been spotted for a while. And they have airborne trait. So you're going to be able to get these quite far up and sneaking them about pretty quickly. And you've got the M201. This is an M40 on a Jeep. And then we've got another recon aircraft. I do like these little recon aircraft. The one in the 6th Panzer Grenadier was pretty fun to use. So 45 points, 270 km/h speed. Really nice for sort of checking your backlines and flanks. Anywhere near the front line, it's going to get shot down super easy by AI. Or not AI, AA, sorry. But yeah, cool little aircraft to see in the game. Moving on to anti-aircraft, we have the 20mm. So this is reasonable for engaging infantry and helicopters. Kind of span these around a little bit sometimes. Get turned on a card with no veterancy. Then there's the Bofors, the 40mm. I think these got a little bit of a buff, but I still don't really think people use them. 4 strength, okay. We got the M16 with the quad 50 cal. Again, kind of lacking in damage, even against infantry. It's not. I've never really got good use out of these because your range is like so low that you can't really get value out of them before they die. Then we got the Belite Serba. So this is like a twin 20 on a truck, which is actually going to be pretty decent. 55 points, 90 km/h on road, 65 km/h off road. Yeah, going to be nice for dealing with helicopters. And then you got the Crotal for dealing with anything else. So radar AA unit. With 7 HE, 2,825 meter range against helicopters, 3,525 against aircraft. It's not the longest range against aircraft, but it's still the best you have. And it is fast. Just make sure you move it after it fires because it's very squishy. And do make sure to watch out for seed. Helitab, pretty simple one. Another with AS-11s. 19 pen, 2,625 meter range ATGM with 40% accuracy. I guess it's useful in a pinch, but yeah, I'm not sure this is going to get much use. And then the Air Tab. I'm really a big fan of the Mirages. They look cool. This is an F1C 200 with the Magic 2s. Get 2 of those, and you get 2 Super 530s. So reasonable loadout for 190 points. 20% ECM. Really fast at 1,325 km/h. Nice. And you got the Rocket Mirage. Probably more useful than it used to be. It's also going to be a great aircraft for diving helicopters. Twin autocannon plus the Magics. And then you got the rockets if you actually want to engage anything on the ground. We do have the Cluster Mirage. These are 13 penetration, so pretty good actually. Should do a decent amount of damage to enemy armor. And then there's the HE variant, which comes with 2 400-kilogram bombs. A little bit of a light payload, honestly, but could be useful for picking off infantry and buildings. But speaking of picking off infantry, we do have the Mirage 2000C ICM with a really cool paint job. This comes with the Cluster HE bomblets. So very fun unit. 40% ECM as well. 1,050 km/h speed. Not quite as fast as something like the Mirage F1C, but still pretty decent unit for killing infantry. And then you've got the Mirage 2000C RDI with that 40% ECM again. 1,125 km/h speed. 2 Magic 2s, 2 Super 530Ds. Yeah, nice because of that extra ECM. Otherwise, I feel like you may as well just stick with these guys for 190 points. But that's all of the units, so let's go ahead and put together a quick deck. Start here in the logistics tab. I don't think there's too much we're going to do with RT, so I probably don't need a fob. We'll take some Jeeps, and I think I'll just take 2 cards of these trucks. We'll go to the infantry, where I will add... we will bring some of these. I think they're going to be fun to use at closer ranges. We'll bring Milan 2s for sure and Milan 1s. That's like almost a given. And then Antichar, probably bring them in with the VAB Milan, that's fine. The Sappers for sure. We'll do 2 cards of the Republican Guards. I'll bring the Grenadier Voltigeurs. I'm also going to bring in the leader of the Guards. What does that leave me with? Maybe we drop one of these. Because I'm going to have to bring something like this. And then some reservists. Yeah, I think that's not a bad shout. And I can have the AMX-13 VTT stay with the vehicles. Yeah, okay, that's not bad. Let's just move the leader to the front. Okay, I think we're sorted. Just put them at the end. Perfect. All right, artillery. I think it's 2 cards of these. Maybe some mortars. Then tank-wise, definitely doing instructors. We're doing reserve AMX-30 V2s to go with those. Probably worth upbetting them. Definitely bringing in the LECLERC. I think bringing in these would be a good idea. A bit of a leader in there as well. Right, recon. Spreading these out at the start is probably not a bad idea. We'll use the Rasura. I think something like that is fine. Maybe some recon infantry would be nice, or the recon aircraft would be kind of handy. But I think you either bring like the recon aircraft or you bring the helicopter, and I think the helicopter is probably more useful. Mainly because it can kind of stay in the same position for a long period of time. You can hover it over like high altitude stuff, and then you're basically going to get the same that you're seeing from this anyway. AA, that's only 1 card of Cartel. This could be a bit rough. I think it's going to be something like that. We will bring 1 card of those helicopters. Going to outbet them. And then we'll do anti-infantry, anti-tank. And then we just do... that should be fine, to be honest. I could do another cluster. Because I think tanks is going to be something that this struggles with. Where have I got 2 points left? I'm maybe a little bit light on leaders. Let's put some VABs in there. I usually wouldn't use the VABs as much, but I think they're pretty nice, fast armored command vehicle. So this is Zone de Défense. Paris. And there you have it. That is the deck. It looks alright. I think it's going to be fun to play with. I'm a bit worried about infantry AT. You're definitely going to have to mix in like the group anti-chart with the Republican Guards, because the Republican Guards with their like AT grenade launcher is not going to be very strong. You've got Gren Vultures with Appalach. You can also mix in. I may want to mess around a bit with Veterancy. Now look at it, but Milan 1, Milan 2. So you've got plenty of like range control. You've got reasonable artillery. Tank tab's fun and new, like especially shiny new LECLERC. And then air tab's kind of nice. Recon's okay. AA's kind of bad, relying on the Crotal, but it'll do the job. Yeah, going to be a fun one. Not as sort of brittle as other nations we've seen so far, and certainly plenty of flanking potential. One to look out for. I think it's a fun one, and I'm excited to give it a go. Hopefully you guys have enjoyed the video. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.